Introducing my new build, and it's on a 1985 Toyota Dolphin. It's an RV motorhome from the 80s, quite a bit different than the 5x8 tiny home trailer I converted last year. This new build is considerably bigger and it's considerably older, and it has many problems that need to be addressed. One of them being the fiberglass shell having many weak points, such as right here on the ladder. I wouldn't even dare try to climb up on this ladder. It'd probably pull right out. Also, we got a water heater here that needs to be replaced. Every window is leaking, needs to be pulled out and resealed. But would you look at this 80s interior? It can't get any better than this. I am super excited for this build. We got hand cranked windows, we got 80s dashboard, 80s controls, and weird quirky things that could have only come out of the 80s. And if you're like me and have thought about remodeling a vintage RV, hit that subscribe button because I'm going to show you guys what it takes to turn an old vintage RV into a dream build. This is part one of my vintage RV build, and this one is about addressing the problems. Okay. But we do already have another problem, even though I got a new battery here. The truck just won't start, so I don't know if there's a problem with the battery or if something's draining the battery. I'm thinking maybe there's a coach battery in here somewhere. I wasn't able to find it yet. That might be just pulling all the power from the main battery here. So it's a perfect time to show you this jump starter by VTOMAN here. So I do want to get my tiny mansion started up here, and what better way to jump start it than with the VTOMAN X7. This is not only a jump starter, it also has an onboard air compressor as well as a light. So I'll just demonstrate real quick how this VTOMAN jump starter works, and we'll just plug in the provided attachment to the jump starter port, and I will just connect it to the battery terminal here and the negative here, and we'll just push this boost button here and we're good to go. And we'll just jump on inside here and see if it works. I can already tell we're pulling power from the jump starter. Nice. This X7 jump starter by VTOMAN is not just meant for small cars. This is packed with 4,250 amps of peak power, which means it can jump pickups, trucks, SUVs, boats. On a full charge, it's rated for up to 70 jump starts. What I really like is that it's not just powerful, it's smart. The unit itself has 10 different safety protections, things like reverse polarity, short circuit, anti-spark, all that. It's also designed to work in pretty extreme conditions from minus 40 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, the air compressor side is honestly just as useful. Set your target pressure and it'll automatically stop when it hits that number. So it's great for car tires, bikes, balls, pool floats, you name it. The big screen makes everything super easy to read. You can see your battery level, inflation mode, and your real-time tire pressure all without giving it a second guess. On top of all that, it doubles as a power bank with 18-watt USB-C fast charging, and it has a 400 lumen LED with 3 modes: white light, red flash, and SOS. That alone makes it useful for roadside stuff, camping, or even power outages. It also comes with an 18-month warranty and lifetime tech support by VTOMAN, and the rectangle design makes it super easy to fit in your glove box or even behind your seat, keeping that VTOMAN X7 just in arm's reach when you need it the most. I got your back with a link in the bio, and VTOMAN does make a ton of other products, so be sure to check them out. Well, welcome to the new tiny home. I guess it's gonna be a tiny mansion. And yeah, I mean, it does need some work here. I haven't even gone through the drawers or anything yet. It is considerably bigger than the 5x8 tiny home, because now I can stand up. Well, sort of. As you can see, the roof is sagging a bit because there are parts that I can stand up fully right here, and I'm 6 foot, so right here seems fine. But oh, obviously the AC's in the way. We're gonna get a new AC that's flat, so I shouldn't have that problem. But back here you can clearly see the ceiling is sagging quite a bit, which we gotta address that along with many other things. And just to give you a quick look here, this is gonna be the sleeping space. It has 3 windows here, and it looks like a skylight that can open up. And this is what the cab looks like. It is a 1985 Toyota, and it only has about 48,000 miles on it. so it's virtually brand new. And turning around here, give you a good look at the back. We got plenty of storage in this one, along with the stove and a fridge. And coming around here, we even got a bathroom with a toilet and a sink and a shower, which is awesome. And yeah, this is a living space that could also convert into a bed for the night. And we got a sink with some more storage. Looks like maybe a propane heater and some 80s technology right here. And finally a closet so I don't have to keep my clothes in the back of my truck. But yeah, this is the new tiny home. I think we do have some storage under here. I haven't even taken a look. Oh, cool. We have seat belts. Awesome. And looks like some water tanks on this side. And I don't even know how to get in here. Well, we'll figure it out later. This table. Okay. Clearly needs a little work. But yeah, what do you all think? It's the new tiny home. I'm pretty excited. I do have big plans for this project, and it's all gonna happen pretty quickly because I only have about 2 months to finish this and hit the road, because I am meeting my wife in Baja in 2 months, so this has to be done. I did the tiny home in 3 weeks, so I think I can do this in 2 months, hopefully. I don't know, because it needs a little bit of work with the suspension and the engine, but I'm assuming that I can get it done in time. I am just gonna go with the full gut on this one. I'm gonna demo everything here next week because there are some issues, and I think it'll just be better to demo it to address all the issues it has, because it is from the 80s, and yeah, it does have some wood rot. Water's been getting in here. Back here also has some soft wood, and you can see the ceiling is bowing down here, so there's also probably wood rot in here that we need to address. And you can also tell that by this cabinet door. It won't even open all the way. So we'll tear the whole roof apart and get in there and see what's going on. Coming over here, this wall doesn't look too bad, but yeah, it does look like water's been getting in there. Also in the sleeping space in that corner, I don't know how bad it is, but it's soft too. I could probably fix it wall by wall and just address the issues, but honestly, demo is only gonna take a day to do, and then I'll be able to get in the walls and see exactly what I'm working with. I can already tell over here, I didn't even see this, but yeah, this is coming apart as well. This whole wall is water in here. But I mean, once the walls are off, those things are really simple to fix. It's just taking out the paneling and replacing it. And I did learn online that all the windows should be taken out and resealed anyway. So that would be much simpler to do with the walls off. So since this is an 80s RV, I do have a theme that came to mind for this. And it's gonna be like 1985's futuristic 80s style, and it is quite bold to be doing that kind of style in an RV, but I think it's gonna work out. I think it's gonna be fun, and you know what, it's gonna be a project, it's gonna be interesting, and it's gonna be a whole nother world inside and outside. I am gonna keep the outside looking the way that it is because it's gonna be kind of like a stealth camper. I want it to look old on the outside and then like super modern futuristic on the inside. I think that will also help with theft. People will just assume that it's old and nothing super nice on the inside. Plus the outside already looks pretty good, so I'm gonna stick with that. And another thing I'm gonna do is, since I am demoing everything, removing all the cabinets and stuff, I am gonna do a foam build, which I'm pretty excited about. So there's not gonna be much wood in this tiny home. There will be wood in the studs, but what I'm gonna do is, I don't know how thick this is, probably 1 inch or 1.5 inches. I'm gonna insulate with pink XPS foam in the walls, and then I'm gonna build cabinets out of foam, and even my countertop out of foam. And the sink will also be out of foam. And I'm not sure how it's gonna work, but it should be pretty lightweight. So the concept is everything is gonna be made out of foam, and then a layer of fiberglass over it, and then we're gonna micro cement the whole thing, and that should look pretty cool and also lightweight. At least that's what I hope. I have seen some other YouTubers do micro cement in their van, and they look like they had a lot of work to do, but I think micro cement has changed in the last 5 years and the products are a little bit easier to work with. So we're gonna see how that goes. And I do think that this shower is a bit tiny, so I think what I'm gonna do is move this sink over here, because the wifey said that she doesn't like the sink there. So I think what I'm gonna do is just make this bathroom a little bigger, maybe stop about here, and then just kind of move this under here, have maybe the clothing storage here, and the fridge will need to move from here to here. So maybe like fridge and clothing storage. And that's also what I kind of don't like about windows, is that you have to build around them, because I would much prefer just to block this off. I don't think I need two windows right here, but it's already there, so we got to build around it. And then, I mean, this is always great to have a second sleeping space for friends, but I don't really have any friends. It's just gonna be my wife and I using this. So we will be using this for sleeping, and this will be our, you know, eating entertainment center area. So I think what I'm gonna do is just make this a nice couch, and I want to put a TV over here, but I'm gonna have like a pop-up TV because there is a window, so that way the TV isn't there during the non-TV viewing time and you can still look out the window. So that's gonna take up some room. And then in front of that, I have seen this pretty cool water vapor fireplace that I want to put there. So essentially it's just gonna be seating for two, and then a table here with a pop-up TV there and a fireplace, and I think that should look pretty cool. But yeah, I don't really know how to film this whole process because I don't know what I'm doing, and it's my first time doing anything like this, and my 5x tiny home was also my first time, but I do regret not filming the build process. So I think what I'm gonna do is just do kind of a vlog style build process. I think that'll be interesting for a greater range of audience as opposed to a how-to, because I don't know how to do this. So I guess you can, you know, follow along, watch me fail, and I'll try my best to just document the whole process. And yeah, this is gonna be a lot. 2 months to do this while filming. I'm a bit stressed out, but I think I can do it. And just let me know in the comments some things that you'd like to see, other video ideas, because I do have a hard time coming up with concepts. And I really hope that we can fix this, because I'm just almost about to stand up fully but can't. And yeah, I have actually started on the suspension. I installed shocks in the rear because it's super bouncy at the moment, and it does kind of need new leaf springs, but I don't want to spend the money on them. So I think I'm just going to put in new airbags and see if I can kind of settle that out. And I was working on the front suspension yesterday. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just kind of show you what's going on there. I had managed to replace the upper ball joint and the lower ball joint, and was working on the tie rod here, but I got stuck. I couldn't get this out because I had to order another tool to get this out. And I'm just replacing all this stuff because it's not that expensive, and there's some clunking in here when I'm turning at slow speeds. I don't know exactly what it is, but every part is just like 25 bucks here, 30 bucks there. So I'm replacing the upper, the lower, the tie rod, and new shocks, as well as the sway bar links. And I don't really know what any of this stuff does. I'm just going off ChatGPT and forums. I've done disc brakes before, but that's about it. Everything here is new to me. But these were the old ball joints that I got out yesterday, and that took quite some time. And here are the new shocks. Oh, those are the rear ones I already installed. Here are the ones for the front. So yeah, I'm excited to get these put in there. I think these will really help with the bounce. We still got the 5x8 tiny home here. I listed it for sale and got a bunch of interest in it, but I'm definitely not getting what I put into this. I'm gonna lose quite a bit of money on this, but that's okay because I want to start on my new project. This is just essentially gonna replace this one, and that looks much better. So I don't know how old these ones are. And here is the tool that I bought that came Amazon overnight, so I can remove that tie rod and get it replaced. And sorry for the mess, but I got all these car parts here. So yeah, today's mission is gonna be replace the inner and outer tie rod and install the new sway bar links and bushings. But it's already late in the day, so I think I'm only going to be able to get one side done today, and that will probably be it. Yeah, let's go ahead and start to do that. And we just got Roy Boy chilling in the backyard here. There has been a squirrel that is coming around here and kind of taunting him, making him bark and jumping from the roof to the electrical lines to the fence. I don't know if they're playing or if he's just irritating him, but it's pretty funny anyway. And I have no idea what size to use. I'm just going to start with the smallest one. I also don't know which way it goes. I'm assuming this way. And I should, nope, okay. Now the problem is I can't get an angle to hit it. Well, it's on there, it's not a problem. Problem is I can't hit it off. I really don't understand why it has to be so stuck on there. Oh, yes. Oh, finally. Wow, dude. So yeah, I guess you just jam that in there until it pops out. I think I was doing it wrong, hitting it from the side for a bit, but wow, that was difficult. So apparently the tie rod is pretty essential to your alignment. So I'm just gonna try to get the threads similar, do all the suspension work, and then take it to an alignment shop later. Okay, I think it's pretty much the same. I don't really know, but the alignment shop will figure it out. So put this in there. So after working well into the night and all this morning and a couple trips to the Toyota dealership, we are finally able to get all of these parts replaced. So these are the two front shocks that I replaced. These are the two rear shocks. We got the lower ball joint here, upper ball joint. We got the tire rod, inner and outer. We have the sway bar mount bushings along with the sway bar links here. And I'm not gonna lie, anything that had like a ball joint or the tie rod joints were really difficult to get off. It was my first time doing that and it was just a whole experience on its own. We also got the steering stabilizer bar changed. I saw that this was really old and I just picked one up for like $22. So I'm excited to see how it drives, all those parts replaced. So I think I'll just go ahead and end it here for today. I do gotta go inside and do a lot of research, start sourcing some materials for the tiny mansion here. But I'm super excited. I hope I could do a good job and pull this off quickly because I do only have 2 months to finish this whole project. And it's just gonna be super nice to be able to stand up and have a dedicated cooking place and a nice little seating place there. But yeah, stay tuned and see how I turn this vintage RV into my dream tiny home on wheels.